Hello out to all you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear, listening into another Gamer's Thoughts discussion. Now, if you were with us live last night on the Winging It podcast, you already know my opinion on this particular subject. But I haven't done a discussion for my own social media channels, so that's why I'm going to be talking about it. And it's also because I've seen some videos pop up saying that, in particular, this means that Xbox is not a free speech platform. Now, I'm going to touch on that a little bit because that's a different angle that I hadn't thought about covering when we talked about it on the Winging It podcast last night. But Phil Spencer has proposed universal bans across platforms now that we are moving into an era where crossplay is a thing. Now, I don't usually agree with stuff like this because wholeheartedly it can be a little bit too heavy-handed. But in this particular case, I do agree that if someone has repeatedly done something to harass someone and they get banned, then yes, they should be banned across all platforms. Now, this is something that can be done at the level of each individual game company because many of them have their own account system that you have to log into anyway. So that's something that they can do. Now, nobody can say that this is going to wholeheartedly fix every issue. But if everyone, and you have ways of verifying this now. You can screenshot things. You can record video on most of your platforms. You can show verifiable proof of someone harassing you. Now, I'm not saying, hey, this person said something and I felt a certain way about that thing, so they need to be banned. No. But if somebody is repeatedly harassing another player in the game, take, for example, Rainbow Six Extraction is coming out in a few days, and it's going to be cross-play compatible. Now, say I get into a thing with a dude and I remove him from my party or I block him from my party in the game. He on the platform I'm playing on. Now this person, if they have more than one copy of this game, can literally go on to another platform, log into the game, and still come back and bother me again when I have already, done what I can to stop them from being a pester to me. That is harassment. Now, if I remove them again, they still have another option to go to come back. Now, if this repeated behavior keeps happening, they should be banned from that game on all platforms. It's not something that has to be done in a heavy-handed, misguided manner. The problem is people hear, well, if we ban them across platforms, then that means that their freedom of speech is taken away. No. You have a freedom of speech up until your freedom encroaches upon someone else's freedom. That's how freedoms work. That's how rights work. Now, if I want the freedom to be done with your personality and your issues and shit, and I block you, and then you find a way to subvert that and come back at me, why am I not allowed to be able to set a block in place? And why are you not able to, why shouldn't you suffer the consequences of what you're doing? That's how that works. So I don't like the argument that this is a freedom of speech issue all the time. It's not always a freedom of speech issue. Now, granted, there are people who will abuse the shit out of it, and half the time those people don't get fucking consequences. So, For that, I think that, hey, if somebody is abusing these systems, they should receive the ban instead. If it can be proven and verified, which it could be in most cases. There are so many people now playing their games, recording and live streaming and shit. There are ways to prove this shit is happening. Plus, for Microsoft and Sony's cases, if I remember correctly, I believe their consoles do record what's going on in the background. Now, it doesn't permanently hold it in memory, but it does subtly record it in the background. In most cases, you can easily say, okay, bring back the last 5 minutes or save the last 5 minutes of gameplay. They both allow that. Save the last 5 minutes of my screen capture going on. And there's so much free software on PC for recording your gameplay, it ain't even fucking funny. So again, with so many people having a whole bunch of this stuff set up, I don't see a problem with a universal ban within reason. Within reason, I can understand. Now, again, somebody trying to abuse the system, ban their ass instead. Lift the ban on the person that they try to abuse it against, and ban their ass instead. Simple as that. Let them be the one on the punishment that they tried to enact on somebody else by falsely claiming something. The shit needs to work both ways. The person that is harassing outside of the system needs to be punished, and the person using the system to harass also needs to be punished. So yeah, I do agree with Phil Spencer on this. I don't think that anybody should just be allowed to encroach upon somebody else having their ability to enjoy their time the way that they would like, since gaming is supposed to be a relaxing hobby. It's supposed to be something that you do to de-stress and calm yourself down. Now, if somebody else decides they want to take it too far, then they should be able to be punished for it. And that punishment should go across the board. Again, I'm thinking of the fact that cross-play is becoming a major thing, and I'm so happy it is. But you have to have precautions against people that act in bad faith. You have to. Whether people like it or not, it's a thing that it's a toss-up. Because think about it this way: if those things are not in place, and somebody does go through the scenario I just talked about, where they hop on multiple different platforms to pick with and harass a single individual, and they can do that unpunished, there's nothing that's going to deter them away from doing it. No matter how much you try to enact your blocking methods and things of that nature. Now, I don't think that somebody should be able to be banned just because someone says a person is harassing them and they can't prove it. Because again, that is a very slippery slope. And again, with these platforms, you have damn near every way possible to show off whether or not somebody is actually harassing you. So, with that in mind, having that available, I do not mind the idea of a universal ban from gaming, not from everything gaming, just specifically the games that you are enacting the harassment on. So if you get banned from Rainbow Six Extraction, you shouldn't be banned in Call of Duty automatically. Now, that level I will not agree with. I think it should be based on a situation. It should be done on a situational basis. It should not be just done willy-nilly at any point just because I feel like it. No. Situational basis. Now, if someone has been a bad actor across multiple different platforms, then yes, there should be some way to ban them for an amount of time to take them off of a service. I don't believe in permanent banning, but say somewhere between 1 to 6 months time. I think that that's reasonable depending on the level of the offense. Again, you have to have protections in place anyway. And we know that the game companies are trying to be all friendly with each other at this point, so they're going to have something in place for this. Now the problem is, it depends on who the fuck they put in place. It really depends on who they put in place. And some of these people that consider themselves SJWs or social justice warriors are just as bad as the people that they want to take down. So you need somebody who can look at things from an even keel. So, and that would take a lot of time to work on. I will admit that. It's not something that's just going to crop up overnight. This is something that it would need to be heavily curated. And you would have to spend as much time possible trying to vet everyone that you have working on something this large of a scale. So it's not just an easy undertaking that you can just throw out there. And it's something that I think that it should be considered. Now, again, I am one who argues for free speech. I do not argue for freedom of consequence, though. If you participate or act in a particular way, you should not be able to run from the consequences under the banner of free speech. They're taking my free speech from me. No, you took it from you for the way you behaved. No one else did that. This is the consequences of your particular actions. Again, not for just mass banning just to ban. Has to be verifiable. Has to be provable. And you have to be able to prove that the person is the same person across multiple platforms. Because sometimes people have different names on different platforms. So it gets real choppy. Again, this is something that will take a lot of work to do. Take a lot of work and a lot of investigating in order to be able to do it. And it would take a lot of people, it would take people that can be neutral to a situation. Wow. I am so tongue-tied right now. It would take for people to be able to be neutral to a situation and take their emotions out of it. And only be able to start from the base level of whatever the argument is or whatever the person is accusing the other person of. And you would have to have somebody who's willing to hear both sides of a situation. The ban can't... crap. Ban can't just be, oh, hey, we're banning you because Super Kitty 49 said that you were harassing her playing Rainbow Six Extraction on Xbox, and then you jumped in on PlayStation and started harassing her again. It has to be provable. And a lot of the times the companies have logs of this stuff. Whether or not they want to look into those logs is a different story. But they have the logs. So I agree with Phil to an extent. But I also know this would be a very big and heavy undertaking. It's not something that's just going to be done easily. But I do agree with the notion in general. It's just the intricacies that people have to think about. And that is something to consider and to think over. But I'm done here. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. Until the next time, and also comment what you think. Until the next time, enjoy your games. Peace out, everybody.